The corner, the corner, the corner. Hey, welcome. Come on into Cousin Ed's Corner. This podcast is where you will find real, authentic conversation, organic conversation, like you're at home with your cousin. It's about life, it's about finance, it's about spirituality, it's about love, and everything in between. I'm your host, Cousin Ed. I'm excited to bring you along on this journey to explore life. Listen, let's sit back and enjoy a wide range of topics. I have some diverse guests coming on, a wide range of spectrum of thoughts. My goal is to create a space for all of us to connect, all of us to learn each other, and all of us to communicate. It's really not about me. It's about the community as a whole. Let's enjoy this. Let's sit back. Let's think about our past. Let's move into our future. It's about the corner, the corner, the corner. So no matter how you cut it or slice it, we're all here together. I'm just here to give you a piece of my heart, my mind, my soul, and my mentals. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of Cousin Ed's Corner. The corner, the corner, the corner. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. We are back. We're back with another one. Cousin Ed's Corner. When my sister wins, we all win. And today we have another winner with us. I am honored. I am just sitting here in awe to have this special guest on. We had a chance to meet at Sistah in Business Expo, and she was one of the winners of the sponsorship from Sistah in Business Expo for us to give a free interview with, to come on and tell her story. She was at the actual both sessions. She was at both sessions. You were at the conference. She was actually at the conference, and you were at the actual expo. So Miss LaToya Cooper, welcome to Cousin Ed's Corner.
What's up, Cousin Ed? Thank you so much for inviting me and having me on. I'm excited to just have a conversation and also to represent our sisters.
You definitely did that and continue to do that. I was so happy to see just all of you, not only you, but all of you connecting the way y'all did for the conference first, and just learning, and me as one of the only men there, picking up the gems that y'all possess, and seeing what my sisters are doing. And as the mantra goes, not my mantra, but as Sistah in Business Expo mantra, when my sister wins, we all win. And I believe it so much. And you are definitely winning. I was able to pass by your booth and check out a lot of things you had. And I couldn't wait to get back and connect with you so we can have this conversation. So welcome to Cousin Ed's Corner. I always like to start off, I would like to find out a little bit about you and your past and what got you to this point. I don't like the pamper story, the diapers or anything, but I want to know about you. Where were you raised? I know I met you in Jersey, but where were you raised? What are some things that got you to this point? And we can talk about some things you're doing today.
So I'm a country girl at heart. I was raised in Virginia, in the country of Virginia, just to say that. And just between work and travel, I ended up in the Philadelphia area. I actually call Philadelphia my second home. This is one of the places I used to visit a lot growing up and into my adulthood. So yeah, that's how I ended up in Philadelphia, just through work and travel. And actually, My husband brought me here. When I met my husband is when we moved back to Philadelphia. So that's what really brought me to Philadelphia to live.
Now you say you're out of Virginia. Where'd you go to school?
I grew up in Virginia. I went to college in Northern Virginia, George Mason University, and grad school at University of Baltimore.
Did you attend campus in Baltimore also? I like
yes.
Baltimore. Okay. So you moved to Philly. I love Philly also. I used to go down to the Galleria and have a lot of fun up there. Great place to be. What got you into wanting to be an entrepreneur, a shepreneur?
So entrepreneurship has always been in my blood. It's been something that I've been dreaming about since I was a kid, when I really think back at it. I was just thinking recently how I used to, I would be at home and I would have my pretend clients and I would have them come in and I would help them. Yes, pretend clients. You know, as a kid, your imagination runs wild. And anytime somebody would stop by my grandma's house, I'm like, come on in, let me help you. And I would pull out my little laptop. Well, it wasn't a laptop at the time, but it was a little computer, didn't have any batteries. And I was pretending to just type away and to help people out. So entrepreneurship has always been in my blood. It's something I always wanted to do.
Great. Now, I know you have a business, She Speaks. What is She Speaks and what is it all about?
So She Speaks, it was actually birthed out of my journey through breast cancer. It is an organization where I help women to find their voice, to advocate for themselves so that they can walk in their authentic confidence. So it stands for Surrender to Healing Every Day, because when you surrender and you heal, it will teach you to speak and share your story and help others to heal as well.
Listen, for those who were not at the expo, when they say you need to be able to have a pitch competition, like be able to pitch yourself, this right here, she just told you everything about the business. Your soul, I'm soul. So excellent job in doing that. But you mentioned breast cancer. I'm looking at you on the screen right now. I got a chance to meet you. There's no picture of somebody who has cancer. You can't just say this person has cancer. But looking at you, I would never think so young, anything like that, breast cancer. Growing up, you thought it was somebody old or had to have it. Do you mind going into that story of how you found out and your journey in doing that?
So I found out I found a lump in my breast through a self-exam. And I went to my doctor, my gynecologist actually. And because I was under 40 at the time, I had to get a script. She had to write a script for me. So I went in and told her my concerns. Actually, I showed her my concerns because the lump was so big, it was protruding out of my breast. And it was something that was new. It was different. It was hard. It hurt. It was painful. It was just, I don't know, it just came out of nowhere. So I went in, she saw the lump, and she ended up writing a script for me to get a mammogram done. And then I had a mammogram and an ultrasound, and then eventually a biopsy that confirmed that it was breast cancer.
And like I said, I'm looking at you, and I got some years on you, but how old, if you don't mind, how old were you when this happened?
I was 37 when I was diagnosed. So breast cancer, it will show up at anybody's doorstep at any time. It doesn't matter how young or old you are. And the other thing is, I didn't have a family history of it. So it was a shocking and devastating diagnosis when I received it.
37 years old. You mentioned you're married. I'm not sure kids or not at that time.
So I have a bonus daughter. At the time, well, even still now, I don't have children of my own, but we are hoping. And that was the other thing. That was another devastating blow after finding out that I had breast cancer. I was told that the doctors didn't know how the chemo would affect my fertility. So then there were options for fertility preservation. And that's just a whole nother book of worms to open up, a whole nother cost. It was just so many different things to deal with at once. And I looking back over that moment, I think I was more devastated over the fertility diagnosis or the fertility information they gave me versus the breast cancer. I just don't know why. I think it was that thought of the what if, or oh my gosh, like breast cancer is taking this away and now it's trying to rob me of my future, children. So it was hard hearing both.
I can only imagine. And I'm just going back to the point of 37 years old and growing up 90s baby, I mean, not 90s, I was 70s baby, but growing up in the 90s and watching television and learning more about breast cancer or cancer in general, you would never think it would touch somebody close to our age, your age at the time, to go through that. So were you already in Philly?
Yes. I was living in Philly.
Did you have a support system, or it's not far from Virginia, but did you have a support system, other people were able to support you and help you throughout the process?
Yes. So the thing is, I was diagnosed at the height of the pandemic. So that
Oh,
was the other piece that was brought into the equation, because usually when you go in for appointments, you can take someone with you. They can sit with you doing chemo, but because it was COVID, I couldn't have anybody in there with me doing the treatments. So
mm,
I had a very strong support system. My husband was there, our family was there. And yeah, my support system was amazing. I definitely take their hats off to them. And also my sisters in business, the prayer cast was there for me. So my support system was extremely strong and prayerful as well. And that was extremely helpful.
I'm glad you mentioned that. We stand on our support so far as Sisters in Business, but also the Lord itself. You never
Yes.
know what you can go through, and if you have Him, He definitely helps you get through many, many, many things. So, so we're on the other side of it. We're on the other side of it. Thank God for that. So going through chemo and everything, that process, you say you had a good support system. Going through it during COVID time must have been really, really traumatic, because people was going to the hospital and not coming home, things like that. But how was it, getting to ring the bell saying that you're done with chemo?
It was an amazing experience, because I had chemo and then surgery and then radiation. So I actually rang the bell after I finished everything. So it was like,
Okay.
okay, I'm done with every single thing. And it just felt good to just receive that all clear. Um, I can't even describe the experience. And December will be coming up on 2 years. That's a pivotal milestone after you're diagnosed with breast cancer. There's usually reoccurrence. If they see it, it usually comes within that first 2 years. So I'm excited to come up on the 2 year mark, but it was just one of those experiences like, oh my gosh, I'm crossing the finish line for one of the hardest fights in my life. And it was literally the hardest fight in my life.
Well, we thank God for you winning that fight and coming out on top of it. So this birth, She Speaks. So from there, tell me more about the organization, and how does having cancer, having survived cancer, how does She Speaks help other people in their journey?
So I share my journey with others, just one, especially with younger women, so that they could make sure they check up on themselves, put themselves first. But the other piece of it is just to remind you that regardless of what you go through, like, as long as you have faith and you trust God, you can come out on the other side stronger than you ever thought or ever imagined. And then I want to say one of the biggest things is that I learned is that there's always beauty in the ashes. Because as I was going through this journey, I was losing so much. I lost my hair, I lost my lashes, I lost my brows. Like, I was losing so much on the outside, but I was gaining so much internally. So it just taught me how to just continue to have that faith, to trust myself, to make the right decisions for myself, to just lean on God for every single thing, because I knew I couldn't do this on my own. And just to be thankful for every day. That was another piece. Every day that I woke up, I was thankful, because some days going through chemo, I was out of it, completely out of it. So I was just thankful for God to just be here another day. And it just also taught me how to just show that thankfulness to the people I come in contact with throughout the day, especially throughout the treatment centers, because everyone may not have the same support as I, or people may have different diagnoses. So, you're going through so many different emotional experiences as you're going throughout this journey. And then just trusting God through it. So when it comes to She Speaks, I just help women, regardless of what you're going through, especially those pivotal moments in your life, to learn how to work through it and fight through it. And the goal is to help teach women before they get to those defining moments. And that's one of the things I had to learn before I got to this moment. There were some things that I had to deal with and to heal from, like, things I dealt with in my childhood, things that I brought into my adulthood, people that hurt me, things that I've done to hurt other people. I had to heal from all of that. And I'm glad I did that prior to being diagnosed, because I didn't allow that to be like burden on me, because I know I have been healed. So it allowed me to walk through this journey a little bit easier. So that's one of the things I like to help women with, is to know, hey, whatever you're going through, you can get through this. Let's work through this and start peeling back the layers so you can understand what's really going on and how to really fight this battle and how to, have that positive self-talk.
So I see that you do one-on-one coaching. That's part of what you help them break the breakthroughs? Not even dealing with only cancer. So you're not only dealing with people that's dealing with medical issues, but you're dealing with just life issues in general?
Yes. And I would say one of the things I learned, so I went through therapy. I went through counseling to heal from a lot of things that I had been dealing with from childhood. So one of the things that when I came out of counseling, I realized, okay, I'm healed, but where do I go? What help do I have? It's like, okay, how do I continue on this positive journey? And but me being the strong person I am, I was able to find ways to help me cope. So I use those mechanisms to help other women. And I do it also in a group setting, small groups, as well as one-on-one coaching. So it's, and I'm not a counselor or a therapist, but it's the point of learning what I've been through, using what I've been through to help teach others how to continue on that positive road, that positive journey.
Well, I definitely think coaching is one of the layers that people are using, especially like you said, after COVID, a lot of people are using coaching. So I had a counselor on before. Let me make sure I get this correct. I'm going to start at the top. You have a psychiatrist. That's the one who can prescribe medicine. You have a psychologist. That's the actual person under there that can talk to you. You have a therapist. And you have a coach. Am I correct?
Yes, and some people, I think therapists and counselors may be interchangeably used. But so just in case some people are like, okay, I have a counselor, where does that fall in? I just wanted to slip that in there.
No,
so, and
trust me. But having someone that has been through it, who understands it, who is a peer, also coming to you not as the white coat, but coming to you as a peer saying, I've been through this. I can understand this. I don't only have the book knowledge, but I've been through this and I could tell you what it took for me to get through this. And someone who wants to work with them in that aspect definitely is is relatable and helps people let down, like you said, peel back the onion, let down their guard a lot. So I definitely appreciate that. And all of the coaches out there. So how can they find you? Is it something that's virtual? Is it something that's in person?
Right now it's all virtual. They can find me on my website at surrendertohealingbook.com.
Okay. Surrender to Healing. And any other things? I saw a couple of things you have going on. Are you doing speaking engagements also?
Yes, I'm doing speaking engagements. I have my book tour coming up. I am the author of Surrender to Healing, Conquering Breast Cancer with Faith, Gratitude, and Confidence. So the first stop on my book tour is October 21st at the Sistah shop at the Mills at Jersey Gardens in Elizabeth, New Jersey. I'm really excited about this. Excited to just share my book with the masses and to meet people in person as well. And I also have a few speaking engagements coming up as well.
That's excellent. So I missed that part. The book, tell us more about the book and that journey of writing the book.
So the book, it's about my journey through breast cancer, but it's a guide to help women, anyone diagnosed with breast cancer, as well as their family members. One of the things that I learned going through the journey is that there are a lot of questions. There's a lot of information you're going to receive. So I provide questions that you can ask just so you can understand your diagnosis, because they're going to throw so much information at you. So I share some questions to ask, especially for women under 40 when it comes to fertility, because fertility is not always discussed when you're diagnosed with breast cancer. Regardless of your age, it's not always discussed. I just so happen to have an oncologist who discussed it with me, but also my husband and I were prepared to ask that question in advance. Not everybody may not know or even think about fertility, because if the cancer's in your breast, you're not thinking about anything else in your body, at the time. So, and I write about the importance of having an advocate with you. That's the other piece, because as I mentioned, they're going to give you so much information. You're not going to remember it all, or you may not remember it all. And as you go through chemo, you may experience memory loss. So you definitely want to have someone with you who can speak up for you, who can advocate on your behalf and also know what's going on. And so I just share different information, and it starts from the time where before I was diagnosed, like leading up to me finding the lump, to receiving the diagnosis, what I experienced, the emotions that I was going through, as well as the whole journey of the chemo, the surgery, the radiation. And then I also dedicate a chapter to fertility, because even outside of breast cancer, fertility can still be a concern for some women. Mm-hmm. And it's part of the conversation that we often don't have in the Black community. Yes. So that's the other piece. And I just share information just about life. So I've had people, who have picked up this book and said, hey, I don't have breast cancer, but I received some life lessons out of this book that I can use. Or I may have been diagnosed with something else, and this book is going to help me to better able to communicate with my doctors. So the book, it does mention it is about breast cancer, but it also provides those life lessons and guidance to just help you for any trial that you may be dealing with in your life.
Well, I would like to sponsor someone a copy of the book. So if anyone can reach out, 762-333-2032, that's 762-333-2032, or let me change that. I want you to go to cousinedscorner.com, leave a voicemail on top of the page. I want to be able to share with her, and I'll reach back out to you and get your information, and I will sponsor a copy of the book. Hopefully they can get a signed copy. Let me see.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'll sign it.
We can get you a signed copy of the book. Just leave her a voicemail. The first person who leaves a voicemail for this episode, I will definitely send over a copy of the book. So I want to thank you, my sister. I appreciate you coming on Cousin Ed's Corner. I wanted to make sure I followed up with you and was able to get your story out. It's a beautiful story, and it's so many more things that's coming forward to you with the spirit you have. I know God is going to continue to keep blessing you. Are there any last words, anything that you want to tell our family out there before you go?
So thank you so much for inviting me. I've certainly enjoyed this conversation. Ladies, I hope you hear me. One of the things I want to share with you is please do not hesitate on getting your screenings done, your breast health screenings, your mammograms. If you're under 40, please do your self-exams. Regardless, just do your self-exams at least once a month. If you see something that just doesn't feel right, you experience pain in your breasts or anything with your nipple or anything like that, just make sure you seek medical advice. Whatever you do, do not delay. That is so important for our community, especially in the Black community. Do not delay, because oftentimes when we're diagnosed with more aggressive cancer types in later stages. And usually when you're diagnosed with those earlier stages, there are more treatment options available for you. So please pay attention to your health, pay attention to your body, and take care of yourself first. And just always remember, regardless of what you go through, there's always beauty in the ashes.
And lastly, once again, how can they reach you?
SurrenderToHealingBook.com, and I'm also on Facebook and Instagram at I am LaToya K. Cooper.
Y'all heard it from her, heard it from the Queen. Blessings to the King also. Tell him it was great meeting him also. Blessings to him for y'all journey, not only your journey, but y'all journey. Tell him that, keep doing what he's doing, and we support both of you in your journeys. Listen, family, this one right here touches home. Cancer is, if it hasn't touched you, the question is when it's going to touch you in some kind of way. It may not be you, but it could be a family, friend, loved one, co-worker, someone you're going to come in contact with will have cancer in your span of life. It's about finding a cure and helping the person get through that situation. So continue to volunteer, continue to donate to Susan G. Komen organization. Do the walks, do everything you can do to help fight this terrible disease that's out there. It's your boy Cousin Ed. Remember, no matter how you cut or slice it, we are all here together, and it's the community. That's all that counts. So I love each and every one of you. We love each and every one of you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm out of here. Peace.
Hey, y'all. Aisha here, founder and CEO of the Sistahs in Business Expo, the country's only multi-city small business expo and community created to celebrate and educate entrepreneurial women of color. Be sure to tune in to the next episode of Cousin Ed's Corner. And remember, when my sister wins, we all win.
Hey, y'all. This is LaToya Cooper, author, speaker, and advocacy coach at surrendertohealingbook.com. And when I'm relaxing, I'm listening to Cousin Ed's Corner.
This episode of Cousin Ed's Corner was brought to you by the Sistah Shop. Please be sure to visit them at thesistahshop.com. That's thesistahshop.com. Thesistahshop.com. Thank you for listening to Cousin Ed's Corner.